y'all, it's Belle. Welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be my July anticipated releases. So to start with, on July 5th in the US, it's just two books that I want to get. It's books 2 and 3. I have all the series in hardback like I mentioned, and they're bringing the series out with new covers and paperback by the same illustrator. And I think it's a series I'm really going to love, and I love the covers of both the hardcover and the paperback. And it's Alcatraz versus the Librarians by Sanderson. And book 2, the Scrivener's Bones, and book 3, the Knights of Crystallia are coming out, so I want to get those. And that's US. Move over a little bit. Also in the US on July 5th, Nura and the Immortal Palace by M.T. Khan. Nura longs for the simple pleasure of many things: to wear a beautiful red dupatta or to bite into a sweet gulab. But with her mom hard at work in a run-down sweatshop and 3 younger siblings to feed, Nura must spend her days earning money by mining. But it's not just the extra rupees in her pocket Nura is after. Local rumor says there's buried treasure in the mine, and Nura knows that finding it could change the course of her family's life forever. Her plan backfires when the mines collapse and 4 kids, including her best friend, Faisal, are claimed dead. Nura refuses to believe it and shovels her way through the dirt hoping to find him. Instead, she finds herself at the entrance to a strange world of purple skies and pink seas, a portal to the opulent realm of Jinn, inhabited by the trickster creatures from her mother's cautionary tales. Yet they aren't nearly as treacherous as her mother made them out to be, because Nura is invited to a luxury Jinn hotel where she's given everything she could ever imagine and more. But there's a dark truth lurking beneath all that glitter and gold, and when Nura crosses the owner's son and is banished to the working quarters, she realizes she isn't the only human who's ended up in the hotel's clutches. Faisal and the other missing children are there too, and if Nura can't find a way to help them all escape, they'll be bound to work for the hotel forever. Which sounds incredible. I've been waiting for this for so long, and this cover is so beautiful. Purple's my favorite color, and I love this cover so much. So on July 5th in the US, a graphic novel, Sisters in the Mist by Marlyn. Spaaij. Phrygia Forest, an ancient mystical place where trolls lurk in the mossy spaces between tree trunks and changelings scamper about, causing mischief. A place that Kyra and her sisters Margot and Jana return to every year to spend the summer at their grandma's farm, roasting marshmallows, catching frogs, and befriending tiny, grumpy root goblins. But this summer is different, and a teenage Margot drifts apart from her sisters, slamming doors and keeping secrets. Kyra starts to worry. When Margot is enticed into the woods by mysterious figures in mist, Kyra resolves to do everything in her power to save her sister from danger, even if that means facing the spooky forces within Phrygia Forest with just her kid sisters for help. That just sounds so good, and the art looks beautiful. They're these fast because, as usual, there's a lot, and I'm sure I've missed some, but I think I got most of them. Also on July 5th in the US, Chester Keene cracks the code by Kekia Magoon. Chester Keene takes great comfort in his routines. After school, Monday to Thursday is bowling, and Friday, the best of days, is laser tag. But besides Friday laser tag, Chester has one other very special thing. He gets secret spy messages from his dad, who must be on covert government assignments, which is why Chester has never met him. Then one day at lunch, Chester's classmate Skye approaches him with a clue. They've been tasked with a complex puzzle-solving mission. Chester takes their assignments very seriously, but Skye treats it like a big game. Skye proves to be a useful partner and good company, even if her haphazard, freewheeling ways are disruptive to Chester's carefully curated schedule. As Chester and Skye get closer to their final clue, they discover the key to their spy assignment. They have to stop a heist. But cracking this code made me finding out other things are not always what they seem. Sounds amazing. I love a good mystery story. Sounds like it can have some important messages, themes too. Also on July 5th in the US, Repairing the World by Linda Epstein. 12-year-old Daisy and Ruby are totally inseparable. They've grown up together, and Daisy has always counted on having Ruby there to pave the way, encourage her to try new things, and to see the magic in the world. Then Ruby is killed in a tragic accident while on vacation, and Daisy's life is shattered. Now Daisy finds herself having to face the big things in her life, like starting middle school and becoming a big sister, without her best friend. It's hard when you feel sad all the time, but thanks to new friends, new insights, and supportive family members, Daisy is able to see what life after Ruby can look like. And as she reaches beyond that to help repair the world around her, she is reminded that friendship is eternal, and that magic can be found in the presence of anyone who chooses to embrace it. Usually don't gravitate towards contemporaries like this, ones that I think are going to be sad, but like there's hope at the end of that synopsis. So I don't know if it's because of what I just recently went through. She may have been a dog, but she was my best friend and my child. But something about this makes me want to read it. I think it's going to be an impactful story, but also a hopeful one. So on July 5th in the US, Lark and the Wild Hunt by Jennifer Adam. Never trust a fae. Lark knows this. In her village, the border between the Fae and the human worlds is as thin as a whisper, and Fae trickery is nothing new. But Lark's brother, Galen, has just disappeared into the Fae realm while racing in the deadly wild hunt, and Lark's only lead is a mysterious Fae boy called Rook. To save her brother, she'll have to trust Rook, even if it takes her into the dangerous Fae kingdom, where she'll untangle riddles, navigate labyrinths, and face the wicked king himself. I absolutely loved The Last Wind Witch by this author. I was wanting it to be a series because I just loved it so much. The writing was superb. It was like darker upper middle grade. I was just obsessed with it, so I've been looking forward to this release by her for a while. I cannot wait to read it. So on July 5th in the U.S., The Hike to Home by Jess Rinker. Lynn Moser is not looking forward to this summer. After living on the road all her life, hiking mountains and traveling through the country in an RV with her house-flipping parents, she's now stuck in Newbridge, New Jersey for their longest stay yet. With Mom away on a year-long naturalist assignment, Lynn has resigned herself to having the most boring summer ever. But then she finds out about a local legend, an ancient ruined castle in the woods that no one has been able to find. Hiking to the castle would be like a quest. Such an amazing quest that Mom might even come home, and they could adventure together the way they used to. Determined to create her own adventure, Lynn sets off on her biggest one yet, braving the wilderness with her two new friends, seeking the castle, and maybe discovering a new idea of home along the way. Sounds like a great summer read. A hidden castle, two new friends, a little quest, some important themes too. I'm very excited. Moving to July 7th in the UK first. Book 2. And I'm more likely to get sequels of books I haven't read yet in UK since most of the time they're paperback and they're cheaper. And I just don't want to forget about them, so I get them. And I want to read both of these very soon. I want to read this very soon. Book 2. It's The Unexpected Tale of the Bad Brothers by Clare Povey. Both books just sound amazing, so I can't wait. And then the second one, I have read the first one, and I didn't know the sequel was coming until just recently I saw, I think the publisher posted something. I'm so excited. The sequel's finally here. In the Eartha Quicksmith series, Book 2, The Myriad Mysteries of Eartha Quicksmith by Loris Owen. I love the first book so much, so I can't wait to read the sequel. Also on July 7th in the UK, The Mermaid Call by Alex Cotter. Vivian's never going to win the mermaid crown, and she knows it. Does she care? Who wants to be rewarded just for being pretty anyway? So she joins Alice on her quest to find the mermaid of the lake instead. But as the legend starts to unravel, it reveals an ugly truth, and leads the girls into terrible, watery danger. It doesn't say much, but it just intrigues me. I want to read it. Also on July 7th in the UK, The Extraordinary Voyage of Katie Willicott by Sharon Gosling. Living among the flowers and ferns of Kew Gardens, Katie has always dreamed of more. Of the sky and the stars and the sea. Unfortunately for Katie, her father doesn't understand. He says young girls should be content to stay at home, not go off gallivanting around the world. So when the news reaches London of a meteorite falling in the faraway land of Brazil and an expedition being put together to find it, Katie knows it's her chance to follow her dreams and prove her father wrong. And winning a place on the trip is just the start of her extraordinary voyage on the trail of a fallen star. I read another book by this author, I think The House of Hidden Wonders, and I loved it so much. So I'm very excited that she has another book out. Also on July 7th in the UK, Dead Good Detectives by Jenny McLaughlin. Sid Jones loves hanging out in the graveyard with her best friends in. They are desperate to see a real-life ghost. But when Sid accidentally summons a 300-year-old pirate from the dead, it opens the door to the Halfway House, a magical inn full of lost souls from across the ages, all trapped there by a sinister landlord. There are more ghosts than Sid could ever have imagined, and they're all sure Sid is there to save them. Sid's sure there's been some kind of mistake. But someone else is watching, and they're not happy about Sid helping the ghost. Tick-tock, time is running out. This is the author of the Land of Roar series, and I'm so excited. She's got another series coming out, so I didn't have to wait long for another series to start with her. This one just sounds even more amazing. Like, everything about this just sounds so up my alley. I'm so excited. Also on July 7th in the UK, The Double Trouble Society by Carrie Hope Fletcher. They say children who are born on Friday the 13th are immune to evil spirits. Whilst Ivy and Maggie liked to believe that was true, it didn't stop them checking for monsters under their bed each and every night. Ivy and Maggie have been best friends ever since they were born at exactly the same minute 12 years earlier. They're always on the lookout for a new adventure, but unfortunately, Crowwood Peak is officially the most boring town in the world. Or at least it was until children started to mysteriously disappear, and even stranger, none of the grown-ups seem to have noticed. It's up to the Double Trouble Society to work out what's going on. All that evidence points to old mansion next door with strange green lights in the windows and a new owner who looks suspiciously like a witch. Can Ivy and Maggie solve the mystery of Hokum House and rescue their friends, or will they be next on the witches' list of victims? Mystery Witches Friends Friday the 13th, and this cover. So excited. Also on July 7th in the UK, I think the series is called Project Helix. It's 21% Monster by Peter Keene. When Darren Devlin is arrested for destroying his school with his bare hands, it's not just the police who are after him. Enter Merrick Masters, 14-year-old, 19% alien, and the most intelligent, most wanted, almost human alive. Merrick is here to tell Darren the truth. He is 21% monster, and together they must take down the secret organization that created them. Darren and Merrick are wanted, powerful and dangerous, and now it's payback time. Sounds so good. On July 7th in the UK, Neon Secret Universe by Spaaij Pounder. Unicorns are not horse creatures with horns. In fact, they are the most powerful magical beings on the planet, and they look just like you and me. They live in a secret realm known as the universe, and the horse with a horn thing was just something a unicorn called Greg made up to distract the humans, and it really worked. But a young human girl called Neon Gallop is about to find the last remaining universe portal opener, an old battered green lipstick, and step into a zany world where magic is made with goo and the possibilities are endless. Unfortunately, if there was one person you wouldn't want keeping the greatest magical secret of all time, it would be Neon Gallop. It just sounds just incredible. Also on July 7th, in the UK, The Billow Maiden by James Dixon. Alyssa's mom is ill, not the first time, so they spend the summer with her aunt and uncle. Aunt Bertha, Uncle Nod, and their dog Moxie live on an island off the coast, by a beautiful fishing village surrounded by beaches and cliff tops. Alyssa and Moxie spend their whole time there exploring these beaches and cliffs until one day they find a hidden cave. Inside the cave, they find Heffring, a strange woman not keen on strangers. I don't know why I said Alyssa. I had to reverse the letters, I guess. Elsa slowly gets to know who Heffring is. She is a Selkie, a mermaid, a billow maiden from ancient myth. However, she is stuck on land and slowly dying. It's up to Elsa and her new friend Camilla to save her. But there are plenty of obstacles in the way, not least Elsa's own fears and her mom's illness. Sounds like a great summer story, amazing setting, very intriguing synopsis. Also on July 7th in the UK, The Dragon in the Bookshop by Ewa Jezeflaus. Not gonna say that right. Conrad's dad always used to say, there is a character in a book somewhere that matches you almost entirely. It's just a matter of finding them. Conrad never expected the finding to involve stepping right into a story, and he never expected his dad not to be there with him. After his dad's death, Conrad stopped speaking, not a word at home or school as the year rolls by. But that begins to change when he meets Maya on the beach he loved to explore with Dad. She doesn't mind his silence. It gives her a chance to be heard because at home no one seems to notice her. When the pair go on a last visit to Conrad's family bookshop before it's sold, they soon get lost in the pages of Conrad's favorite book of folktales. Whisked back in time to quest with a dragon, they must find themselves and their voices, as well as a happy end to the story in the book and in real life. Sounds so unique and just like an important story as well. Important messages, themes. July 7th in the UK, Spell Stoppers by Kat Gray. Welcome to Yowling, a secretive seaside village where magic is just one step away. Max has spent years thinking he is cursed, because whenever he touches anything electrical, it explodes. But then he is sent to Yowling and discovers he is a spell stopper, someone with a rare ability to drain dangerous buildups of magic and fix misbehaving enchanted items. When Max's granddad is kidnapped by the cruel keeper of the malfunctioning magical castle that floats in the bay, only Max's gift can save him. Together with his new friend Kit, Max throws himself into an adventure filled with villainous owls, psychic ice cream, and man-eating goldfish. But can he really pull off the biggest spell stop ever? So it's a perfect summer holiday magical adventure for fans of Diana Wynne-Jones, Catherine Doyle, and Thomas Taylor. So excited. Also on July 7th in the UK, Wish by Jack Ryder. Pixie's life has fallen apart. Her beloved parents are swept out to sea in a fierce storm, never to be seen again. And she's sent to live with her mysterious grandma, Nanny Monkton, in a village on the edge of nowhere. On her train journey there, she meets an orphan boy called Wild, who steals her mother's precious coin necklace. When they arrive at Nanny Monkton's, Pixie realizes that she's no ordinary grandma. She lives in a treehouse and wears an eye patch, just like a pirate. As Pixie settles into life in Windbury and befriends Wild, she begins to uncover amazing things about her own mother, about Wild, and the wishing well in Nanny Monkton's garden, a mystery of mermaids and magical coins. It sends the new friends on a whimsical journey to search for answers, but in Pixie's heart she knows she wants an answer to the biggest question of all. Is there a wish powerful enough to bring her parents back? Sounds like an incredible read. A lot of UK releases this month that I'm interested in. Also on July 7th in the UK, Orla and the Wild Hunt by Anna Houghton. Orla and her brother go to stay with their gran in Ireland. Grieving the death of their mom, the children revel in the comfort of their grandmother's house and her magical storytelling. But soon after they arrive, Gran vanishes. Helped by a local boy and a peculiar creature found in the garden shed, they set out to find her. Shadowed by a shape-shifting darkness known as the Wild Hunt, the children, and especially Orla, must put their sadness behind them if they're to rescue their beloved Gran. I love The Mask of Arabella by this author, so I'm so excited she finally has another book out. I can't wait to read it. Also on July 7th in the UK, Once Upon a Fever by Ingrid Walker. Peyton wants to be mythic like her father, working on a cure for her mother's sleeping fever. Annie, however, thinks the remedy for all illness must be found in the green wilderness beyond the hospital walls. When Annie stumbles upon an imprisoned boy who turns everything he touches to gold, Her world is turned upside down. The girls find themselves outside the hospital for the first time, a dark mystery unraveling. It's the first teen novel from this author. But I keep seeing it as middle grade everywhere, so I'm just going to say upper middle grade. She wrote The Ash House, which I love that whole book, except for parts of the ending, which I didn't like how it ended in some parts. So I'm excited to read this, and if it's not middle grade, I won't read it, but I'm pretty sure it's upper middle grade. Also on July 7th in the UK, The House of Shells by Ifua Traore. Kekia refuses to believe in the curse of the Abiku. Her destiny is not to die young. Her biggest problem right now is moving house and fitting in at her new school. One evening while exploring, Kekia spies a driveway lined with giant palm trees. It leads to an abandoned beach house of shadows and scattered seashells, and in the fading light, she meets a girl called Anilo. They become friends, the best of friends, until Kekia makes a terrifying discovery. Say much, but it says enough to hook me. I want to know more. So on July 7th in the UK, The Fire Cats of London by Anna Farger. Young wildcats, Asta and Ash, find themselves captured and taken from their home in the forest to an apothecary's shop in the heart of London in the summer of 1666, when fear and superstition are rife. Asta's determination to escape London and return to the wild takes her on a perilous race against time to foil a dangerous plot that threatens the city and her brother Ash as the flames take hold. Asta and Ash will take you on an inspiring journey around London during the most infamous fire in British history. Of that historical fiction, some animals, middle grade cats, and maybe some real life events based from, so excited. So on July 7th in the UK, The Misunderstandings of Charity Brown by Elizabeth Laird. Charity Brown's life is about to change. Her family have been left a huge rambling house by a mysterious benefactor, and her parents want to move in and throw open its doors to the needy. Only recently back from the hospital after months of isolation with polio, Charity is overprotected and lonely as the only child still at home. Her family are very religious, her sisters are called Faith and Hope, and her brother Ted is studying to be a preacher, so she's both excited and nervous at the thought of sharing her family and new home with strangers. It's a recipe for confusion, joy, and endless misunderstandings, including with the new neighbors, an Austrian family with a daughter just Charity's age. And it says it's inspired by the author's own childhood growing up in post-war London. So, cannot wait to read this. Also on July 7th in the UK, Cuckoo Summer 1940. As the cuckoo sings out across the Lake District, life is about to change forever for local boy Tommy and his friend Sally, the mysterious evacuee girl who lives on the neighboring farm. When they find a wounded Nazi airman in the woods, Sally persuades Tommy not to report it but keep the German hidden. This starts a chain of events that leads to the uncovering of secrets about Sally's past and a summer of adventure that neither child will ever forget. Historical fiction, war, summer, secrets. Very intrigued. Moving on to July 12th. In the U.S., The Last Beekeeper by Pablo Cartaya. In a future shaken by climate disasters, Yolanda Saran knows that nature is something to be feared. While life in the valley is brutal and harsh, Yoli dreams of leaving her farm to live in Silo, the most advanced town for miles around. But first, Yoli will need to prove she belongs in a place where only the smartest and most useful are welcome. Between her razor-sharp smarts and sheer determination, Yoli is well on her way until she discovers her family can no longer afford her schooling. When forced to take matters into her own hands, she gets the closer she gets to securing her future, the more she uncovers the dangers lying inside Silo's walls, ones that threaten the entire valley. So intrigued by this one. The cover is beautiful. Also on July 12th in the U.S., Breda's Island by Jessie Ann Foley. After Breda Moriarty gets caught stealing one too many times, Breda's mom sends her to Ireland, a place she has never been, to live with her grandfather she has never met. While Breda doesn't want to be in this strange land, she finally gets to meet Granda, her mom's father. He's a grumpy farmer who is also a Sayan Chai, a traditional Gaelic storyteller. But the most important story is the one nobody will talk about: what happened to her absent father. If nothing else this summer, Breda is determined to figure out the truth about her family's history and herself. Sounds great. Ireland, summer, grandfather, secrets. Another beautiful cover. July 12th in the U.S., Crimson Twill, Witch in the City by Callie George. This is an illustrated series. Crimson Twill is a little witch, but you might not know it. She lives in the country and loves polka dots and puppies instead of pointy shoes and black dresses. She even wears a big bow on her hat, which is Crimson, just like her name. Tonight, for the very first time, Crimson is riding on her mother's broom all the way to New Wart City to go shopping at Bloomingdale's. The huge department store has everything a witch could itch for. For Crimson, each floor, hats, cats, brooms, is a new adventure. But in Bloomingdale's, ready for a witch as unique as Crimson, a rich and playful new world comes to life in the first book in this charming series. That sounds amazing. I love a good witch story. Also on July 12th in the U.S., although I think it's coming out in many countries, All 4 Quarters of the Moon by Shirley Marr. The night of the Mid-Autumn Festival, making mooncakes with Ama, was the last time Peijin Guo remembers her life being the same. She is haunted by the magical image of a whole egg yolk suspended in the middle like the full moon. Now adapting to their new life in Australia, Peijin thinks everything is going to turn out okay as long as they all have each other, but cracks are starting to appear in the family. 5-year-old Bijou, lovable but annoying, needs Peijin to be dependable big sister. Alma keeps forgetting who she is. Mama is no longer herself, and Baba must adjust to a new role as the hands-on dad. Peijin has no idea how she is supposed to cope with the uncertainties of her own world while shouldering the burden of everyone else. If her family are the 4 quarters of the mooncake, where does she even fit in? Very intrigued by this. It sounds so incredible. Also on July 12th in the U.S., Be Real Macy Weaver by Lakita Wilson. 11-year-old Macy Weaver knows relationships are complicated. Fresh off her latest friendship breakup, she spent most of her summer break on her own. So when Macy's mother decides to go back to college 3 states away, Macy jumps at the chance to move, anything for a fresh start. But Macy's new home isn't exactly what she expected. Her mother's never around, and her dad's always working. Lonelier than ever, Macy sets her sights on finding a new best friend. When she meets Bryn, who's smart and kind and already seems to have her whole life figured out, down to her future as a high fashion model, Macy knows she's it. The only problem is that Bryn already has a BFF, and as everyone knows, you can only have one. Resorting to old habits, Macy turns one small lie into a whole new life, full of fantastic fashion and haute couture, but it isn't long before everything really falls apart. Ultimately, Macy must determine how to make things right and be true to herself, rather than chasing after the person she thinks she's supposed to be. Sounds like a great read with some important messages and lessons. Also on July 12th in the U.S., A Perfect Mistake by Melanie Conklin. Max wishes he could go back in time before he was diagnosed with ADHD, before he grew to be the tallest kid in class, and before he and his best friends went into the woods in the middle of the night. Max doesn't remember what happened after he left his friends, Will and Joey, and the older kids who took them there. He's not sure if he wants to remember. Knowing isn't going to make Joey talk to him again or bring Will out of his coma. When the local authorities run out of leads, Max realizes that without his help, they may never know what really happened to Will. Charged by the idea that he may be the key to uncovering the truth, Max pairs up with classmate and aspiring journalist Sam to investigate what really happened that night. But not everyone in the community wants that night to be remembered. Wow, sounds like an important story, mystery too. So, also on July 12th in the U.S., The Star That Always Stays by Anna Rose Johnson. Growing up on Beaver Island, grandparents told Nura stories about her ancestor Megizi, about Bimbokeonini, the winter maker, about the Crane clan and the Reindeer clan. He sang her songs in the old language, and her grandmothers taught her to make story quilts and maple candy. Island Norvia was proud of her Ojibwe heritage. Things are different in the city. Here, Norvia's mother forces her to pretend she's not native at all, even to Mr. Ward, Ma's new husband, and to Vernon, Norvia's irritating new stepbrother. In fact, there are a lot of changes in the city. 10-cent movies, gleaming soda shops, speedy automobiles, 9th grade. It's dizzying for a girl who grew up on the forested shores of Lake Michigan. Despite the move, the upheaval, and the looming threat of World War, Norvia and her siblings, all 5 of them, are determined to make 1914 their best year ever. Norvia is certain that her future depends on it, and upon her discretion. But how can she have the best year ever if she has to hide who she truly is? Historical fiction, and it sounds like such an important story, important messages, and I've been looking forward to this one for so long. Also on July 12th in the U.S., my leg's asleep. Next Door to Happy by Allison Weiser Strout. With a mother struggling with anxiety, a father who recently moved out, and no siblings to commiserate with, socially awkward Violet Crane feels like she is starting middle school with less going for herself than that of your average kid. When the rambunctious Walker family moves in next door, Violet can't help but wish she could become a part of their household. Everyone and everything seems so normal compared to her own. After she meets them, Violet falls in love with all 5 Walker siblings, and especially with Mrs. Walker, who is nothing like her own mother. Violet and Reggie, the black sheep of the Walker family, find that they have an easy understanding of each other, and it doesn't hurt that they are in the same grade at school. But then Violet overhears a conversation between Reggie and his mother in which she tells him that she doesn't feel like Violet is an appropriate friend. Violet is devastated until she faces a truth. No person, family, or friendship is perfect, and realizes just how lucky she is. It sounds like a great story. Also on July 12th, Edda and Invincible by Reese Eshman. I feel like I've been waiting for this to come out forever. I feel like it was on a 2021 release list, but I probably got pushed back. 12-year-old Edda Johnson has loud days where she can hear just fine and quiet days where sound comes in from far away and she gets to retreat into her thoughts. Edda spends much of her time alone working on her comic book about Invincible Girl, the superhero who takes down supervillain Petrified. Invincible Girl is brave, daring, and bold, everything Edda wishes she could be. But when Louisa May Alcott, a friendly golden doodle from across the street, disappears, Edda and the dog's boy, Eleazar, must find their inner heroes to save her. The catch? Louisa May has run onto a magical train that mysteriously arrived at the station near Edda and Eleazar's house. On board, they discover each train car is its own magical world with individual riddles and challenges that must be solved before they can reach the engine room and rescue Louisa May. Only the stakes were even higher than they thought. The train's magic is malfunctioning and spreading a purple smoke called the Fear through the streets of Chicago. Eartha and Lazo are the only ones who can save the city, save Louisa May Alcott, and save each other. It sounds so different, and I'm excited to read it. And finally, moving on to July 19th, books 1 and 2 in the Witches of Peculiar series by Luna Graves come out. The first book, Double Double, Twins in Trouble, and then book 2, Thriller Night. The third book comes out later this year. The author sent me an advanced copy of the first book, and I recently read it. I don't have a recent reads up for it yet because I'm around 20 books behind in my reviews, which is awful, and I do behind on so many things. But I loved it, and I can't wait to read the second book. And I've read the synopsis in a book call, so I won't read it again. But good witchy story, illustrated, and just I loved it. Can't wait to read the second one. Also on July 19th in the U.S., Thirst by Varsha Bajaj. Many lives in the poorest part of Mumbai, where access to water is limited to a few hours a day, and the communal taps have long lines. Lately, though, even that access is threatened by severe water shortages and thieves who are stealing this precious commodity, an act that many accidentally witnesses one night. Meanwhile, in the high-rise building where she just started work, she discovers that water streams out of every faucet, and there's even a rooftop swimming pool. What many also discovers there is one of the water mafia bosses. Now she must decide whether to expose him and risk her job and maybe her life. How does something as simple as access to water get so complicated? Sounds like an important story and something very different. Also July 9th in the U.S., A Reluctant Witch's Guide to Magic by Joanne Plaza. Willow lives in the wild in a city squished between two warring witch covens. The non-magical Wildians spend their days dodging wayward spells, from raining frogs to dancing chickens, all because of the witch war raging around them. Being stuck in the middle of a magical war means the Wildians hate witches, none more so than Willow, whose parents were turned into clouds by a misplaced curse. Willow spends her days with her army of cats, dreaming of an end to a war and her parents' return. So when Willow is accused of being a witch after witnesses catch her accidentally stopping a spell midair, she's certain there's been a mistake. She can't be a witch, yet Willow is dragged to the palace where she's given 1 year to master her volatile magic and choose a coven to join. If she doesn't, she'll explode. But her attempts to control her magic are interrupted when a rogue witch begins nefarious spells against the ordinary folk. What does the witch want, and what does it have to do with Willow? She must unravel the mystery to save her city, her friends, and herself. Sounds so good. Also on July 19th in the U.S., J.R. Silver writes Her World by Melissa DeSoy. What if you could write your dreams into reality with the stroke of a pen? 6th grade is off to a different start for Josine Rose Silver. Her best friend Violet returns from camp with a new best friend. Her parents refuse to grant her more independence, and her homeroom teacher, Miss Klein, is full of secrets. When Miss Klein unveils a collection of old Gothamite magazines and tells her students to build their writing skills by crafting short stories inspired by the iconic covers, J.R. discovers a peculiar power. The story she writes comes true. Soon J.R. is getting a cell phone, scoring game-winning goals, and triggering school cancellations. But it's not long before she realizes that each new story creates as many conflicts as it does solutions. And when J.R. tries to write about her fallout with Violet, all of her problems converge. Everything about that just sounds amazing. Also on July 19th in the U.S., Nothing is Little by Carmela Van Vliet. 11-year-old Felix likes being the smallest kid in school. At least he knows where he fits in. Plus his nickname, Short Lock Holmes, is perfect for someone who's killing it in forensic science club. To Felix, growth hormone deficiency is no big deal. And then Felix learns that his biological dad was short too. This one tiny itty-bitty piece of information opens up a massive hole in his life. Felix must find his father. He only has a few small clues to work from, but as Sherlock Holmes says, to a great mind nothing is little. The further Felix gets in his investigation, though, the more he starts to wonder, what if his dad doesn't want to be found? And what if Felix's family, his mom, his stepdad, the baby on the way, needs him right where he is? That sounds so heartwarming and charming. And so on July 19th in the U.S., the Haley Mysteries, the first in that series, the second one comes out later this year. The Haunted Studio by Haley LeBlanc. When Haley gets the lead role in the new TV show called Sadie Saws It, she's so excited, even if there are rumors of hauntings surrounding the Silver Screen Studios. It's LA, she thinks. There are ghost stories everywhere. But to her surprise, strange things are actually start happening as production ramps up. Lights flicker, cold blasts of air come out of nowhere, and one day that electricity is cut to the studio entirely with no clear cause. Can Haley and her two best friends solve the mystery of the haunted studio before it means curtains for their show? So intrigued by this. Love a good detective-style mystery. Then on July 21st in the UK, Wishes Come in Threes by Andy Jones. I don't know exactly how wishes work, but I knew a man that did. Phil is having a difficult summer. Our family has moved to the seaside, but it's a long way from perfect. Her mom is sick, and she has an enemy called Hilda, and someone is stealing dogs. I can't read today. Then Phil meets Miss Jin, so it's Phil, not Philly, a wise old man who insists he's a genie. It's a tough claim to believe until Phil starts wishing for change. So intrigued by this one. Sounds like a good summer read too. Also on July 21st in the UK, The Day No One Woke Up by Polly Ho-Yen. Something strange is happening in Anna's city. She's the only one awake. Confused and curious, Anna sets off to explore, bumping into one other person who's been able to rouse themselves, her ex-best friend Tio. On a mission to discover what's happening, Anna and Tio journey through the city looking for clues, their friendship mending with every step. When a mysterious creature suddenly materializes in front of them, Anna realizes they found the answer they've been looking for, but one question still remains: why them? I can't say much, but I'm hooked already. Also on July 21st in the UK, Finn and the Memory Curse by Héloïse. Finn is a foundling growing up in the Hackney marshes, living in a tiny attic and selling leeches for a living. When she accidentally discovers she is the long-lost child of a rich Polish family called the Kaminskis, she is swept up into a supernatural adventure where she has to use everything she has learned on the streets of London and deep in the marshes to stay alive. For the Kaminskis are haunted by an ancient evil, and Finn is the key to stopping it forever. I love the Ice Whisperer by her. It was a lot darker and upper middle grade than I thought, and this says a chilling Victorian London adventure. I can't wait to read something else by her. July 26th in the US, Grounded for All Eternity by Darcy Marks. Mal and his friends are just your regular average kids from hell. The suburbs, that is, not the fiery pit part. But when hell's bells ring out, signaling that a soul has escaped from one of the eternal circles, Mal and his friends can't help but take the opportunity for a little adventure. Before they know it, they've somehow slipped through the veil and found themselves in the middle of Salem, Massachusetts on Halloween night. And what's even worse, they've managed to bring the escaped soul with them. As the essence of one of history's greatest manipulators gains power by shifting the balance on Earth, Mal and his squad mates, along with some new friends that they meet along the way, work desperately to trap the escapee, save the people of Earth from the forces of evil, and find the portal back to their own dimension. If they can't manage it before their parents realize they're gone, they'll be grounded for an eternity. And an eternity in hell is a very, very long time. Feels like a great Halloween read, and just everything about that. Also on July 26th in the US, Lexi McGill and the Teleportation Tournament by Kim Long. 12-year-old physics whiz Liz McGill won't let anything stop her from winning Wisconsin's Teleportation Tournament, the annual competition where teams teleport around the world to solve science-based puzzles. She needs the prize money if she wants to re-enroll in the science academy her parents can no longer afford. Added bonus, she'll be able to reconnect with her best friend Haley. But Lexi's two teammates put a wrench in her plans. When one misreads a clue that lands the team in a castle in Germany, and the other loses her teleportation medallion in Poland, Lexi wonders what she's gotten herself into. Struggling to keep her team under control as the race rages on, Lexi not only has to figure out how to get back on course, literally, but she must decide how far she's willing to go to win, and who her real friends are. With riddles to solve and messages to code, this interactive read won't disappoint. So intrigued by that. Also on July 26th in the US, Ravenous Things by Derek Chow. 12-year-old Reggie Wong has a quick temper that's always getting him into trouble at school. While at home, his mom struggles to get out of bed, let alone leave their apartment. That's why Reggie desperately needs his dad back. One problem, his dad is dead. Enter the conductor, a peculiar man who promises to make Reggie's wish to see his father just one more time come true. All he must do is climb aboard the man's subway train, which leaves St. Patrick's Station promptly at midnight. Desperate to have his dad and happy family back, Reggie takes him up on the offer, only to discover the train is filled with other children who have lost a loved one just like him. As he speeds through the wild, uncharted tunnels beneath the city, Reggie meets Chantal, an annoyingly peppy girl obsessed with lists and psychiatry, and Gareth, his arch nemesis and bully since the 4th grade. As each kid steps off the train and into the arms of their lost family member, Reggie can't believe his impossible wish is about to come true. But when Reggie comes to the end of the line and sees his father waiting for him, he soon discovers all is not as it seems. He and his unlikely new friends have been ensnared in a deadly trap. Together, the three must find a way to foil the conductor's diabolical plot and find their way out of the underground subway, where horrors worse than they have ever imagined lurk around every corner. The rats of St. Patrick's Station have taken over, and they're absolutely ravenous. Sounds like a dark upper middle grade. I've been waiting on it for a while to release. Also on July 26th in the US, Team Chu in the Battle of Blackwood Arena by Julie C. Dale. Clip and Sadie Chu couldn't be more different. Popular athletic Clip wants to become his school's first 7th grade soccer captain, while brainy star student Sadie is determined to prove that she can do anything her boastful brother can. They have just one thing in common. They love laser tag. Like, really love it. When the Blackwood Gaming Arena comes to town, bringing virtual reality headsets and state-of-the-art courses, they couldn't be more excited or competitive. But then a mysterious figure appears and claims to be a part of the game, forcing the Chews and their friends to save themselves from a sinister force lurking inside the simulation. Together, they must fight their way through epic battles that will test their speed, skills, and smarts. But will Clip and Sadie learn that they are far better off working together than competing for the ultimate victory? Oh, intrigued by that. Also on July 26th in the US, Miraculous by Carolyn Starr Rose. 13-year-old Jack knows what cured his baby sister when his family thought she might never get well. Dr. Kenbury's miraculous tonic. Guaranteed to relieve maladies known to man or beast, Dr. Kenbury's potion can cure everything from pimples to hearing loss to a broken heart, and Jack himself is a witness to the miraculous results and the doctor's kindness. When he had no money, the doctor didn't turn him away, but gave him the tonic for free along with a job, to travel with him from city to city selling his cure-all elixir. When Dr. Kingsbury and Jack arrive in Oakdale, the town at first feels like any other they've been to. But it's clear Oakdale is a town with secrets, and its citizens are slow to trust strangers. Then Jack meets Cora, and a friendship neither expected starts to bloom. Together they uncover something else they didn't expect. Not only secrets about the town, but also Dr. Kingsbury. As they race to discover the truth, they'll have to decide who and what they believe before it's too late. I'm looking forward to this one for so long, too. It just sounds incredible. And lastly, in Fermentable Books, in the U.S. on July 26th, Kenzie's Kingdom by Shea Fontana. It's a graphic novel. Kenzie hates that her family moved to a castle to start a medieval-themed resort, but all that changes when a time-traveling squire needs Kenzie's help to get back home to the past. That's all it says. Perfect read for Phoebe and her unicorn, the Babysitter's Club, or Witches of Brooklyn. Art looks beautiful, and some just extra mentions that I'm really looking forward to in the U.S. They all have a Hocus Pocus theme, so spooky season. Hocus Pocus Tarot deck comes out on July 26th, and then The Art of Coloring, it's this coloring book, July 26th, and then Disney Hocus Pocus Countdown to Halloween is on July 19th. Just all looks amazing, so excited. Alright, y'all, that's it for this video. Did you see any that you're excited about? Let me know in the comments. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you would like to subscribe, I would love that if you'd like to, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.